Good evening, everybody. It's Crispy Divine, Central Mass Vapers. I promise I won't sing today. I promise I won't sing. I cannot be held accountable for my singing. Just kidding. I had to shut the TV off because God only knows that at some point there's going to be some crazy, bright scene in some stupid movie and it's going to shadow my face and make me upset. And my cat has been up my arse all day long, and I know she's going to try to get up here and get in my camera space. And it's going to... Even though I love my cats. First off, today we are going to talk about something very exciting. None of my videos are ever about something like so new, like cutting edge that, no one knows about. But, they're new to me, and that's just as exciting, right? So today we're going to look a little bit at the Big Dripper, okay? The Big Dripper I found out about because I was watching some video about the guy who made it, and he got into some trouble, and I was like, oh my god, whatever, and I didn't realize that the Big Dripper at that point, I think, had already started to be talked about, but it really wasn't huge yet. So I remember watching this video and he was showing how he was using it, and my first thought was, oh, so you made another 3D atomizer, and that was my first thought. And then the second thought was, I'm not gonna like it, right? Because I've had troubles, I had a lot of trouble with the 3D atomizer. Of course, I wasn't the only one, but then also in the other thing of it, I didn't like the Kraken either. Obviously, it's a little different, but it's still the same type of idea, It's just all about feeding the coils the liquid without having to actually drip the juice, which, to be honest, was part of my favorite part of the whole dripping. I remember when I first started doing the whole, vaping thing, and I would see people take their top caps off and go shh, 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 and I was like, oh, that's fucking cool, what is that? So the part of taking the part of dripping out of it, the equation, isn't so much a thing for me. I like to do it, so, but whatever. But then people started to talk about it more, okay? So basically, when I heard that the Big Dripper was going to be a flavor machine, I was super excited. Because, if you all know me, one of my favorite atomizers is the Magma, and it delivers some of the best flavor I've ever had. Also, I'm a Big Dripper type person. Big Dripper, get it? Oh god, I am so clever. So anyway, I am a Big Dripper, and so obviously I love the idea of being able to take a dripper and actually have the point of it be a flavor dripper, so perfect. So anyway, I looked at the price on it and it was $129.99. Now, I'll tell you what, I have just recently purchased the Dark Horse RDA. It was an $80 atomizer. That is unlike me to put up the money for that stuff, not because I don't believe in it. It's just I don't have the money to put up for that. I would rather be able to get a few different toys than just get one and just be stuck with it, Although, after getting the Dark Horse RDA, I'd fucking use that thing till, the day's done. How you have those atomizers that you always want to have on your stuff? That's that. And, if I'm not using it, I almost be like, why am I not using that type thing? But whatever. So, I'm not opposed to spending the money if I have it, which is never. So, the only reason why I was able to get the Dark Horse is because I had purchased the BEC Pro, and it was garbage, so I sent it back to Be Vape Happy. They gave me a store credit, and instead of, I didn't need an IPV, or I didn't need 100 watts, a galley, or any of that, so what was I going to do? So I dropped the $80 for the Dark Horse, which I think was a great investment. So, anyways, back to the Big Dripper. But, of course, we all know that I did not get the authentic. I did go for the clone. Now, where did I get the clone? Okay. I apologize in advance. I cannot remember exactly who cloned this. I will find out before I post this and put a link down below. But where I purchased the Big Dripper was homeboy Jimmy Cantrell from Northstar Vaping and Northstar Vaping Group Buys. He did the hookup on this amazing fucking atomizer. Great price. Bucks, $32 shipped. Shipped to my door. It was simple. So I get the thing home, and it was like one of those like situations where I wasn't sure how to, like, what I was like in for as far as building it, because I hadn't watched like in-depth reviews on building. I just watched like, what people thought about it. So yeah, so it's just a normal 3-post atomizer. Here, you can take a look here. See, it's nice and juicy. 3-post atomizer. The grub screws, which make it kind of neat, so that way you don't have the screws getting all yuck. It's got 3 different Cyclops holes, airflow holes. So yeah, it offers up some sort of versatility here. So as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, this is cool. So it's not like this big dramatic build. And then you basically, in a nutshell, you take this off here. I'm not going to do it because I already did it, and I'm not going to do it again because it's scary. That's scary, but if you see here, this is where it comes off. Twist off. There's a spring inside here. Whoop-de-doo. And then what I've been doing is I've been pushing this all the way up, and then there's basically a post that comes up that the air, that you blow, suck through, if you see it in there. And you put the juice insides here, and then you gotta line up the friggin' squishy part, the spring, and stick it back in and screw it. So it can be tricky. I mean, you have to get used to doing it, okay? But after a couple times, it's pretty freaking easy. It does hold 5 mils of juice. However, I know that I've seen one person fill it the way of they just basically they fill it up to the top of the that little post or whatever, and then they put the spring back in with the top part, and then they hold it like at an angle, right? So you're making it so there's no juice going to get down that would go through the mouth part, and then they fill it all the way up to make the 5 mils. I don't do that. Basically what I've been doing is I've been pushing the part with the mouthpiece goes down right here, this part, push it all the way down, and I don't know if it's giving me the full 5 mils, but it's giving me enough to where it's been happening. So let me take a puff on it. Kind of long-winded right now, but it's because I'm so happy. Got Space Jam's Andromeda in there, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'll tell you why I do. And I got this on a dual coil. I think it's like 0.2-ish deliciousness. Let's try it. One more time. Now, for cloud chasers, I'm sure there's no reason to think that you can't build this to chuck the biggest clouds. However, for me, with this personal build, I mean, it's putting out some nice vapor, no doubt about it. But this, to me, just purely is for pleasurable flavor, okay? Again, it's definitely a situation where you could build it with your dual parallels. There's enough room in there to stick them. Maybe not huge ones. I mean, the holes are nice and big, but the well, the way it's shaped and it's kind of around, it's kind of small. For me, it seems, I guess, it seems like it would be a little difficult. Like, you could fit your coils in there, but then wicking, I don't know. I haven't tried it, so I guess I shouldn't say, but for me, I just stick with a regular old 24 gauge. I think it's 5 wraps, I believe, 2.2, 2.3, something. I can't remember. But man, the flavor is just unbelievable. The airflow, even though it's got those big wide holes, it does. I think it's because it's smaller in there as far as I can see. And because there's that cotton, it doesn't make it super airy. So I have been keeping them wide open, but you can have the option of closing them off. Actually, that was like halfway open right there. You can close them off pretty much like any other adjustable airflow, like the Stellaire. You can close it off halfway, full, whatever. So the airflow is just wonderful, and I don't know if that's the reason why the flavor is just so good. I need another vape because it's so good. Wow. It's funny, but for some reason with this atomizer, like normal drippers, I'm basically like all lung, right? But with this one, for some reason, I kind of puff on it like you'd puff on a cigar sometimes, like with the, like, kind of like just kind of having it linger in your mouth a little bit and then inhaling some of it. I don't know if you inhale cigars, I never smoked them, but do you see what I mean? It just really, it lends such a nice hand to the flavor by just like taking it in my mouth, kind of throwing that vapor around a little bit on my taste buds, then inhaling a little bit of it, and then it's blowing a little out my nose, a little bit about my mouth. I mean, it's just so perfect. So yeah, now let's talk quickly about the squishy thing, okay? The squishy thing on the top with the spring loaded thing, whatever, that allows you to push it down, whatever, that can be kind of tricky. And I'm going to say that that is probably the I don't want to say it's the worst part of the atomizer, because it does work and it does do what it's supposed to do, okay? But when you push it down, it's this tiny little hole. I mean, not to say that it should be a big hole, obviously, but it's this super, super tiny hole, so only a little bit goes out. So it's not like you just like push it down once and it just this nice drop comes on your coils. It, you know, you push it down, and instead of it going drop right down, it kind of goes out the sides and it leaks down into the thing. So like, you know, for instance, I believe NC Vaping mentioned that, you know, you kind of got to move it around, which I have not been doing that particularly. I've just been doing it enough, and then the reason why it's kind of annoying sometimes is that, like, because I don't want a dry hit, and for some reason when you do get a dry hit off this, it's worse than any other dry hit I've had. I usually will just give them a look, you know, but you do get a lot of performance before you have to drip, I will say that. It seems like I go a long time before I have to actually drip, so it keeps it nice and wet. Some of the downsides are the fact that, you know, the dripping thing with how small the hole is and how it leaks just down the sides, that can be kind of an issue sometimes. Hasn't been bothering me as much, but it does leak a tiny bit. There is an issue there where, because the juice well, you know, is good, but I have noticed that I will get some juice out the sides. Not a ton. It's not like it's leaking out, but, you know, like me, I get so annoyed when I have juice on my hands, but it happens daily, so I can't really get that mad about it. So there's some stuff on that, but also what I noticed is, now if you see on this cartel, you see how this part right here, it goes all the way flush to that, and the holes are perfectly lined up. On my Meraxis, I think it's the Meraxis, the only other one I used it on, it doesn't. It, like this, because it's kind of tapered up, it meets it and fits snug. On my Meraxis, it's not like that. You actually have to, like, if you push it all the way down, it's going to go past the air holes. I should have probably tested a few other ones, but I didn't. Sorry. But again, yeah, that's kind of annoying, but it's not the worst thing that could happen. So I deal with it. Would absolutely, to anybody who loves the magma flavor, or to anybody who likes to drip and who likes flavor, like excessive flavor, and also likes to puff on your clouds, definitely grab the Big Dripper. I'll leave a link below to the company who put it out, but I'll also leave a link to Northstar Vaping Group Buys. I don't know if Jimmy ever has a thought of doing a Big Dripper run again, but so many good things going on over there. You know, great prices. If you're silly if you don't check them out, so I'll leave the link down there, and I'll find out what company put this out. Like I said, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Love ya. Booyah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by. Pick up a Big Dripper and stay fabulous. Mola was like, hey.